Good day. So welcome sa discussion natin in periodic table and periodic trends. So this is the modern periodic table. As we can see, nahati yung periodic table into two groups. The group A and then the group B. So as we can see in the group A, so makikita natin nahati din siya sa 8. Meron tayong group 1A, Group 2A, Group 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, and 8A. So, sa may Group 1A and 2A, so, kung makikita natin, yung mga nandito ay mga metals, di ba? Yung red ay metals. So, from lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So, these are the metals, no? Sa A group, no? So, yung group 1A ay yung tinatawag din natin na alkali metals, and then yung group 2A ay yung tinatawag natin na alkaline earth metals. So, sa may group 3A, yung boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium. So, yung pababa na yan is yung group 3A. Group 4A ay yung mga crystallogens such as carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. And then for the group 5A is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. And then group 6A is oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and then polonium. And then for the group 7A, which is the halogens, is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. And then for the group 8A, nandito yung mga noble gases natin or yung mga tinatawag natin na inert gases, the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. So, yung periodic table ay may mga metals. As we can see, this is the red. And then the metalloids, yung mga yellow. So, ang mga metalloids ay semi-metal. May properties sila ng metals at may properties sila ng non-metals. No? And then lastly is yung mga non-metals, which is yung mga blue. So, as we can see sa group 1A, meron tayong nag-iisang non-metal, which is the hydrogen. So, ito yung other representation ng periodic table. So, yung mga nasa baba natin ay tinatawag na lanthanides and actinides. Yung mga nasa F orbital. So, periodic table groups and periods. So, the periodic table is organized into groups. Yun yung vertical columns na dinidiscuss natin kanina. So, periods naman daw yung horizontal row. For example, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. So those are periods. And then families ay yung group of elements that are similar. For example, alkali metal sila. So those are families, no? Similar sila sa isa't isa. So elements in the same group have the same number of valence electron. So, 'di ba, sa periodic table natin, yung lithium, etong group 1A natin, lahat sila ay may same number of valence electrons, which is 1. No? So, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, at francium, lahat sila ay 1 yung kanilang valence electrons. So, yun. So, elements in the same period have the same number of occupied electron shell. So, ibig sabihin, yung nasa isang same period na yon, pare-pareho yung kanilang principal quantum number, which is yung n, na yung nasa isang period na yon, kasi pare-pareho silang nandun. So, properties of metals, non-metals, and semi-metals. So, each of these elements have different properties, no? And then, kadalasan yung mga magkakagroup ay meron silang same properties. So, properties of metals, yung first, yung physical properties daw na meron ng mga metals is first, meron silang shiny appearance, di ba? So, majority naman ng mga metals natin, especially yung mga transition metals natin, they have shiny appearances, di ba? For example, yung gold, yung aluminum, yung copper, di ba? Lahat sila halos ay shiny yung kanilang appearance. For example, gold, ayan, di ba? Palladium, platinum, and then aluminum. Diba? Lahat sila ay shiny yung appearance nila. So, pangalawa is yung mga metals daw ay malleable. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin natin kapag malleable? Diba? Pag sinabi nating malleable, gumagamit tayo ng mallet. Diba? Kapag pinupukpok daw natin sila is nayuyup sila. No? Para ma-form natin yung shape. No? Yung mga nayuyupe. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng malleable. Yan. For example, yan. Yan. Ito ay example ng forging. Dito natin sinishape yung mga metals, di ba? Next is ductile. Now, when we say ductile, can be drawn into wires. Ibig sabihin, pwede silang gawing wire. Kasi majority, pero hindi lahat ng metals ay nagko-conduct ng electricity. Now, for example, silver wire, copper wire. Ayan. So, ito naman, through extrusion naman yung process para makagawa tayo ng mga wires. No? Extrusion yung process na tawag doon. And then, of course, just like I said, ang mga metals ay good conductor ng heat and then ng electricity. Diba? Yung heat is mas nakakapag-transfer sa mga metals and then, of course, yung electricity. Kaya nga, diba kapag nagluluto tayo, tas ang gamit natin, for example, ay yung metal na kaserola. Hindi ba kapag nag-init yung ilalim, mag-iinit na yung buong kaserola? Kasi it is a good conductor of heat and then ng electricity. Now, again, when we say electricity, it is the flow of electrons. Next is, sila ay sonorous, no? Or sonor. Sonor meaning capable of producing sound. Ibig sabihin, kapag kinakatok natin sila, sila ay tumutunog. Di ba majority ng mga metals natin, kumakalansing. Yun. So, yun yung term, kumakalansing. And then, of course, most of the metals are solid at room temperature, except for Hg or mercury. Sa mercury lang yung nag-iisa nating metal na in liquid form. So, physical properties again, ng mga non-metals naman is unang-una daw dull yung kanilang appearance, 'di ba? Yung iba maputla, yung ganon. And then yung iba parang hindi siya kaaya-ayang tingnan, yung mga itsura ng mga non-metals. For example, kay sulfur, si sulfur ay mukhang egg yolk na pinowderized. So, 'yon. And then, And then, it doesn't show malleability and ductility. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila pwedeng maging wire at hindi sila pwedeng mayupe. Kasi once napukpukin mo, for example, yung mga non-metals, ang mangyayari sa kanila ay madudurog lang. Hindi sila mayuyupe. And then, ductile kasi, hindi sila kakapag-form ng wire, yung mga non-metals. And then, of course, sila ay brittle or marurupok. No, marupok sila or kapag ayun nga, kapag pinukpok mo sila is magpa-powderize sila. And then mas mababa yung boiling and melting point nila compared sa mga metals natin. And then of course, ito ay poor conductor ng heat, 'di ba? Hindi naman sila nakakapag-conduct ng heat. No, yung iba. And then of course, poor conductor din sila ng electricity except kay graphite. Si graphite is a form of carbon. No. So, yung mga properties naman doon ng mga semi-metals natin or metalloids, first is meron silang tinatawag na metallic behavior, 'di ba? So, some of the behavior na meron yung mga metals ay meron din yung mga metalloids or mga semi-metals. And then of course, it doesn't show malleability and ductility. So, sila ay good conductor of heat and electricity. But syempre, less than sila compared kay metals, no? So again, 'di ba ang mga metalloids ay may same properties na meron yung metals at yung mga non-metals. The next is yung mga families and groups. So ito ang tawag sa kanila ang tawag dito ay hydrogen family. So sa hydrogen family, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Yan. Ang tawag sa kanila ay alkali metals. No? And then yung group 1A, alkali metals, from the Arabic term ashes, so they react violently with water. Ibig sabihin, once na mag-react sila with water, yung water ay sumasabog. Ganon. So, first is si lithium. Ayan, for example, nilagay natin si lithium sa water. 'Di ba? Sumabog siya ng slight, na slight lang. And then, for example, si potassium, ayan, mas may reaction siya compared kay lithium. And then, si rubidium, ayun, mas sumabog na siya, 'di ba? So, ibig sabihin, mas bumibigat yung metal, mas malakas yung nagiging reaction, especially yung mga alkali metals natin. And then yung cesium, yun, mas sumabog siya. And then, actually yung francium, kapag nilagay mo siya sa, ang kaya na ng pasabugin nito yung mga dagat na. Yun. Actually, sodium is also reactive. Hindi lang pinakita. So, next is colorless sila or white solids. No, yung color daw nila kadalasan ay walang kulay or kapag hiniwa mo sila, white lang yung pagka-solid nila. Now, for example, si sodium, yan. So, yan ay kapag hinati mo yan, white yan. Next is the beryllium family or yung tinatawag natin na alkaline earth metals. So, sino ba yung mga kabilang dito? Si beryllium, si magnesium, si calcium, si strontium, si barium, at si radium. So, alkaline because compounds of these metals tend to be basic. Ibig sabihin, kaya sila tinawag na alkaline earth metals, sila ay basic. No? Napag-aralan naman na siguro yan sa may part ng lecture, yung acids and base. Diba? So, most of the alkaline earth metals form bases. So, first is si magnesium. Kaya natin in-skip si beryllium kasi siya ay mas gusto nila mag-isa. No? Hindi sila madalas nakikipag-interact. No? So, first is si magnesium. For example, ang base form niya ay magnesium hydroxide or yung tinatawag natin na milk of magnesia. So, yung magnesium hydroxide na yan, matatagpuan natin yan sa Kreml S. Umiinom tayo niyan para yung acids na meron tayo sa katawan natin, man-neutralize siya. Diba kapag kunyari ina-atake tayo ng acid, kunyari nagkakaroon tayo hyperacidity or heartburn, umiinom tayo ng Kreml S para yung acidity na meron tayo or yung pH na meron tayo sa loob ng katawan natin, itataas niya para maging neutral at para ma-relieve yung sensation na parang nasusunog yung sikmura natin. No, yun yung ginagawa ng antacid or ng Kreml S. Kasi yun ay gawa sa magnesium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide, which are bases. So, less reactive sila compared kay alkali metals. No? Mas less yung reactivity nila. And then calcium, strontium, barium reacts with water at room temperature. So, meron tayong exception, no? So si calcium, strontium at barium nagre-react sila with water. So magnesium naman ay nagre-react with steam. Ang steam ay gas form ng water. And then just like I said, beryllium doesn't react, no, with water or steam. And then syempre radium is radioactive. No. So again, calcium, strontium, barium, it reacts with water at room temp. Si magnesium, it reacts with steam or yung gas form water natin. Si beryllium does not react. And then si radium ay radioactive. Next is, kung mabilang muna tayo, next is the boron family. So yung boron family, ay ang mga kabilang dito is si boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, at si thallium. So, yung mga boron daw, boron is the only element in this group that is not a metal. No, ibig sabihin siya ay non-metal. Kasi yung boron family, diverse sila eh. No, merong mga metal and the mga non-metals dito. So, aluminum is the most abundant metal sa Earth's crust. Yan. Next is the carbon family. No? Ang mga kabilang sa carbon family is si carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead, and then yung mga element na meron dito, including tong si UUQ. So, divided daw into 3 classes yung carbon family. Kasi, meron tayong metalloid, meron tayong non-metal, at meron tayong metal. Si carbon ay non-metal, si silicon and germanium ay semi-metal or metalloid, and then si tin and lead ay metals, diba? Next is the nitrogen family. No. So, nitrogen family, including si nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. So, nitrogen and phosphorus ay ginagamit daw sa mga fertilizers. No, ayan yung mga NPK 433 na yan, yung mga organic fertilizer na sinasabi nila. And then, phosphorus is the most abundant in bones and teeth. So, arsenic is poisonous. No, yan yung pinaka-common na poison na meron tayo yung arsenic. Kasi toxic siya. And then, next is the oxygen family. So, sa oxygen family, kabilang si oxygen, si sulfur, si selenium, si tellurium, at si polonium. Tinatawag din siya na chalcogens. No? So, yung group 6A chalcogens, chalcogen from the word chalcos or copper ore. No? Kasi sa copper ore daw, doon daw natin makikita si tellurium at si selenium. So, oxygen is the most abundant element sa Earth. And then polonium is radioactive. No? Kasi yan ay radioactive element. Next is the halogens or yung group 7A. No? So, yung group 7A halogens, hal meaning salt producer. Kasi kadalasan sila yung nakikipag-interact with alkali and then alkaline earth metals to produce salt. And then, of course, yung mga ano din naman, yung mga transition metals ay may kakayanan din mag-form ng salt. No? So, yung mga nandyan ay si fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. Now, for example, ayan, si potassium daw, ire-react daw natin with Br to produce potassium bromide. This is an example of a salt. No, that is a salt. Yung salt na ginilalagay natin sa pagkain is actually sodium chloride. No. It is a kind of salt at tinatawag din siya na table salt. No. Yung potassium bromide na yan, hindi yan yung asin na ginagamit natin. Pero that is also a salt. Or yung KBr. No. Yan, ito naman ay yung calcium fluoride, no, or yung CaF2. So that is also a salt. Salt din yan. Bakit CaF lang? It's actually CaF2. Kasi calcium 2 plus 2 and then F negative 1 yan. So crisscross method to form CaF2. Ayan. For example, sodium. Ito yung sinasabi natin na table salt, no? Yung NaCl na ginagamit natin sa mga pagkain. So, yung group 7A ay tinatawag din natin na halides. No? At ang symbol sa kanila ay X. No? Lalo na kapag nasa organic chemistry na kayo, makikita nyo na ang mga halides or mga halogens ay in-express as X. So, chlorine, bromine, iodine are poisonous. And then chlorine is the most abundant halogen. And then none of the halogen is found in nature in their elemental form. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo sila makikita ng solo na F lang. No? So, makikita mo sila in diatomic form. For example, F2, Cl2, Br2, at I2. So, ganun mo sila makikita. So, bromine is used as anti-knock agent. And then fluorine used in Teflon. Diba? Next is the noble gases or yung mga tinatawag natin na inert gases including si helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So, sila ay unreactive kasi stable sila, no? Kasi meron silang tinatawag na complete octet except kay helium. So, sila ay argonomic. Meaning, have full outer shells of electrons. No? Ibig sabihin, puno yung kanilang outer electron. Hindi nila kailangan makipag-interact kasi wala silang valence electrons. Yung valence nila ay yun na yun, puno na kasi. And then, of course, just like I said, meron na silang tinatawag na complete octet. So, just like kings and queens, they rarely mix or mingle with other people because they are of noble blood. Kaya sila tinatawag na noble gas. Diba? Or noble gases or inert gases. Kasi, hindi sila nakikipag-mix with other. No. Hence, noble gases were termed for elements in the group 8A for those elements are not reactive. They rarely mix with other atoms to form compound. Rarely. Ibig sabihin, may times pa din na nakikipag-interact sila or nakikipag-mix sila with others such as yung xenon and then yung krypton. So again, group 1A is alkaline metals, group 2A is alkaline earth metals, group 3A is the boron family, group 4A is the carbon family, group 5A is the nitrogen family, group 6A is the chalcogens or the oxygen family, group 7A is the halogens, and lastly is the group 8A which is the noble gases. Lahat sila ay sa A. No? So proceed na tayo with B. No? So yung B ay yung mga tinatawag natin na D block or yung mga transition metals. No? Yung mga early and late transition metals natin. So from scandium to zinc pababa. No? So yung mga yan. So yung mga transition metals natin, lahat sila ay may high melting and boiling points. No? Kasi sila ay metal at mabibigat sila. So they can conduct heat and electricity. And then they form alloys. No? Ibig sabihin, ang alloy ay actually is a mixture of a metal. No? Of two or more metals. Minsan hinahaluan sila ng non-metals. No? Ayan, combination of metals. Ayan. So, mga example natin, for example, copper plus zinc ay yung tinatawag natin na brass. No? Yung brass, di ba, yun yung ginagamit natin sa mga brass knuckles, yung mga ganon. So, yung mga metals ay prone sa tinatawag natin na oxidation. No? Once they oxidize, ang nangyayari sa kanila, yung physical properties and then yung chemical properties na meron sila ay nagbabago. For example, yung anong tawag dito, yung Statue of Liberty or Statue of Liberty. Na, yung dati daw yung itsura daw ng Statue of Liberty is ganito. No, kasi it is made of copper. No, gawa kasi siya sa copper. Dati daw ganito daw yung itsura niya. Kasi ngayon ang kulay na ng Statue of Liberty is parang teal green na siya. Ganun na yung kulay niya, no? So, nung unexposed pa daw siya with oxidation, again, ang oxidation is kapag nagre-react sila with oxygen, no? Yun yung tinatawag natin na oxidation. Yung dati daw, yung unexposed daw, ganyan daw yung kulay nung Statue of Liberty. And then after 4 months, naging brown na siya. And then 8 months, 1 year, 2 years to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 15 years, tas 25 to 30 years, ganito na yung itsura ng Statue of Liberty. Green na siya. Kasi it is because of the process we called oxidation. Nag-oxidize siya. And then, of course, transition metals are paramagnetic, meaning they have unpaired electrons. And then, it is attracted to magnetic field. Next is they have catalytic properties. When we say catalytic, it speeds up the chemical reaction. No, pinapabilis niya yung isang chemical reaction. So, dito na tayo sa highlight ng discussions natin, which is the periodic trends. No? Sa periodic table, may iba't iba tayong klaseng trending, no? According to sa mga properties na meron sila. No? So, first na i-discuss natin ay tinatawag natin na metallic character. No? So, yung metallic character, it is more reactive. No? So, of course, yung may mga metallic character dito, of course, ay yung metal. Ngayon, paano yung trend ng metallic character? Di ba kung mapapansin nyo, most of the metals, most of the metals ay matatagpuan sa side na to. So, ibig sabihin, the trend is, kung in terms of metallic character, ang may pinakamababang metallic character ay yung mga nandito, di ba? So, ang trend is from right, start tayo from right to the left of the periodic table. Ibig sabihin, mas metallic yung mga nasa left side compared sa right side. And then, the metallic character increases from right to left. And then from top to bottom. From top to bottom. No, ibig sabihin, ang may pinaka-metallic character ay si francium at yung may pinaka-least ay si helium, di ba? So, dadagdag ko lang, across the periodic table, papaganon, increases din to. Remember that. No? So, for example, which is more metallic, scandium or zinc? No? Titingnan nga natin ngayon sa may periodic table kung sino yung mas metallic. Si scandium daw ba or si zinc? Burahin natin tong mga nakalagay. No? Sino daw ba yung mas metallic? Si scandium ba or si zinc? So, paano natin malalaman? Tingnan natin yung periodic table. Si scandium ay dito matatagpuan at si zinc ay dito matatagpuan. Again, our trend is from right to left. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung may may metallic. So, ang may pinakamalapit dyan ay si scandium. So, meaning, scandium is, ayun pala, nakalagay pala dito. Scandium is more metallic compared kay zinc. No. So, next is which is more metallic in character? Si tungsten daw ba or si chromium? No. Again, let's see sa periodic table. No. So, si tungsten, saan ba siya matatagpuan? Ito si tungsten. At sino yung, sino na nga yung ano niya? Yung isa ay si chromium. Again, it increases below or from top to bottom. Ibig sabihin, mas metallic in character si tungsten compared kay chromium. So, eto naman, another problem, arrange the following metals according to increasing metallic character. No, increasing, ibig sabihin, mag-start tayo with pinakamababa, 'di ba? Increasing. No, sino yung may pinaka-weak and then sino yung may pinakamataas na metallic character. So, lithium, potassium, rubidium, and cesium. So, kung ikukumpara mo sila, 'di ba, eto sila. Lahat sila nandito. Yan, si lithium, si potassium, si rubidium, at si cesium. Again, it increases down the group. So, ibig sabihin, sino yung ususulat natin na umpisa? Si lithium, si potassium, si rubidium, si cesium. No? So, paano yon? So, lithium is greater than, lithium to ayun pala sa baba. Lithium is less than potassium, Lithium is less than potassium, less than rubidium, and less than cesium. Ibig sabihin, increasing. Kaya tayo gumagamit ng less than. No. So, next ay yung tinatawag natin na atomic radii or atomic radius. No. So, ito yung periodic trend natin according to its atomic radius. Yung atomic radius ay yung kung gaano kalaki yung sakop nila, no? Yung radius, no? Kung gaano kalaki yung radius nila. No. So dito sa may periodic table, as we can see, ang may pinakamaliit na atomic radius ay yung nandito. Yan, yung kay helium, at ang may pinakamalaki ay si francium. Ibig sabihin, the trend of the atomic radius is also the same doon sa trend natin sa metallic character. No. Meaning, from top to bottom, it is increasing, and from left to right, it is also increasing. So, increasing to, and increasing to. Ibig sabihin na may pinakamalaking atomic radii ay si francium. Next is yung tinatawag natin na ionic radius. No? So, atom to anion, ibig sabihin, nag-i-increase ng size kasi nag-a-add tayo ng electron. Again, ang ionic radius ay nakadepende sa type ng ion na magiging siya. 'Di ba? kapag nag-gain tayo ng electron, nadadagdagan tayo ng electron. So, ibig sabihin, lumalaki yung size. Kasi nadadagdagan tayo ng electron. No? And then, atom to cation decrease in size since nababawasan nga tayo ng electron. So, ibig sabihin, cations are smaller compared to anions. Next is yung tinatawag natin na electronegativity. No? Again, wait lang. Hindi pala natin na-discuss kung paano yung trend sa ionic ratios. The trend for the ionic ratios is also the same with atomic radii. No? Kasi it increases from left to right and then it increases from top to bottom. No? So, ganun lang din siya. And of course, across the periodic table. Same lang si atomic radii and ionic ratios. Pinagkaiba lang, it is in ionic form. Next is yung tinatawag natin na electronegativity. The electronegativity is the ability of the atoms to draw electrons or para sa kanya mapunta yung tinatawag natin na electron density. No? Na-discuss na to doon sa may part ng intermolecular forces. So, ano daw yung trend natin sa electronegativity? So, dito naman, kung mapapansin natin, baliktad, no? So, from bottom to top, it is increasing. And then from left to right it is also increasing. No? At yung mga halogens natin, yung mga inert gases natin, yung mga noble gases natin, sila ay exception dun sa may trend. Kasi, di ba sila ang electronegativity kasi, ito yung ability ng isang atom para mag-withdraw ng electrons. Ibig sabihin, yung kakayanan niya mag-pull ng electrons. Since ang mga halogens ay ayaw nilang nakikipag-bonding, wala silang electronegativity. So, sa trend, si fluorine ang may pinakamataas na electronegativity. It is the most electronegative atom. No, wala silang values ng electronegativity. Ayan. So, si fluorine nga ang most electronegative. So, sample problem tayo, which is more electronegative daw? Si manganese daw ba or si zinc? No, so, balikan natin yung periodic table. Si manganese ay ito. At si zinc ay ito. Ang trend natin ay from left to right. So, ibig sabihin, the more electronegative is si zinc. No, si zinc ay mas electronegative. So, in this case naman, which is more electronegative, si aluminum daw ba or si titanium? No, balik tayo doon. Hanapin natin si titanium. Ito si, ibahin natin yung color. Ito si titanium at ito si aluminum. Mas malapit si titanium kay fluorine. So, ibig sabihin, aluminum is more electronegative compared to titanium. No? So, yung sagot natin dito ay si zinc at dito ay si aluminum. And then ito, try nyo to. Kayo yung mag-try dito sa arrange the following elements in increasing. Ibig sabihin increasing, start tayo with pinakamaliit pa taas. And then ang gagamitin natin ay less than. Ganun lang. Next is yung tinatawag natin na ionization energy. When we say ionization energy, it is the minimum energy required to remove an electron in its ground state. No? So, it measures the tendency of a neutral atom to resist the loss of electrons. No? It is harder to remove an electron that is closer to nucleus. Ibig sabihin, mas mahirap daw alisin yung mga electron kapag mas malapit to sa nucleus. Kaya kadalasan, ang madali lang tanggalin ng mga electron ay yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga valence electrons. Sila lang yung mas madaling tanggalin. Kasi nasa outermost part sila. So, paano daw yung trend natin sa ionization energy? Ang trend natin is just like the electronegativity. From bottom to top, and then from left to right. The ionization energy increases. So, the energy needed to remove the outermost electron, no, in gas phase, meron tayong tinatawag na first ionization energy and then second ionization energy. Of course, the first ionization energy, 1 electron is removed. And then the second is 2 electrons are removed. So dito meron tayong, since energy yan, gumagamit tayo ng joule or ng kilojoule na unit para ma-determine natin kung gaano kataas yung energy needed to remove an electron or electrons. Next is yung tinatawag natin na electron affinity. No? So dito naman, it measures the affinity of a neutral for an extra electrons. No? It is the ability daw ng atom to accept electrons. Yung ionization energy, yung ability niya to transfer, dito naman to accept ng electrons. No? So, paano yung trend nito? Ang trend nito ay katulad lang din nung kay ionization energy and then kay electron negativity. So, from bottom to top and left to right, it is increasing. No? And then across the periodic table. So, this is the summary of the periodic trends. As we can see, the electronegativity increases from left to right. The atomic radius from left to from right to left, the ionization energy, and then yung electron affinity ay same from left to right. Now, tatandaan nyo lang na si electronegativity, si electron affinity, at si ionization energy, pare-pareho sila, no? From left to right, and then from bottom to top, no? And then si metallic character naman, of course, and then si ionic radius tsaka si atomic radius, sila is from right to left at from top to bottom. So sila yung mga kabaliktaran. No? So hanggang dun lang yung discussions natin about this kasi itong quantum numbers is hindi na siya kasama. No? Hanggang dito lang. So if ever you have questions about this is pwede naman kayo magtanong, no? Pwede kayong mag-comment or pwede kayong mag-chat, no? So, that's the end of our discussion. So, later, magbibigay ako ng exercises para ma-practice kayo sa periodic trends. And then, by next week is quiz tayo about periodic trends. So, that's all. Thank you.